Or first at 6:30 as the search intensifies for the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. An unnamed law enforcement source claims a family member is now a prime suspect in her disappearance. KTLA's Mary Beth McDade live in the newsroom with the latest on a rapidly developing story tonight. MB.
Micah, Savannah Guthrie and her sister Annie, alongside their brother, have broken their silence tonight. They posted this video message to their mother and her potential kidnappers.
Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
While the search for Nancy continues tonight, there are conflicting reports over whether her son-in-law is a person of interest in her disappearance.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
Through tears, some tough words, a tough message, heartbreaking message to hear from Savannah Guthrie and her brother and sister there. I do want to check in with our Ed Lavandera. He is outside Nancy Guthrie's home. So we have some more details about what police were up to there this evening, just a short time ago, bringing sniffing dogs as well as bringing evidence bags out of the house afterwards. Have authorities given any further explanation as to what brought them back there again this evening?
No, we have not gotten. We tried speaking to some of the agents that were here on the ground. They wouldn't acknowledge any of the questions, obviously, and they were not going to explain what exactly they were doing. They were here for probably close to 2 hours, Jim. There were probably a dozen or so local sheriff's deputies as well as federal agents, but they spent close to 2 hours. They spent a lot of time around the back in the backyard going through that area, so our vantage point was rather limited for what we could see, but we know a lot of them were back there. We also saw them going through the garage into the home as well, and then bringing out, from what we could tell, at least once, several bags of brown paper bags of presumably evidence, and then all of that was taken away. But it's absolutely stunning that literally as that crime scene tape was coming down and the investigators here were leaving the scene of Nancy Guthrie's home, that Savannah Guthrie and her siblings released this excruciating video to watch. And you think of someone who's had such a storied career speaking in front of a camera. I can't imagine that for them that those had to have been the most painful words to have to utter into a camera that she's ever had to endure.
Oh, goodness, yeah. Excruciating is the right word. Ed Lavandera, thanks so much. Just back briefly to Andy McCabe before we go. So here we are 4 days out. You've just searched the home again, attempting to find more evidence. You brought sniffer dogs there. You apparently, in coordination with the family, whether you encouraged them, you certainly allowed them to make this plea. You have not, it does not appear they have communication, to our knowledge, with whoever took her, and they say that they don't have a suspect in mind. So what is your next step if you're the FBI?
Well, first of all, they have to keep the public relations game going. They have to get back out daily in the press conference, in front of the press, taking questions, but using those moments as an opportunity to put out information that will generate leads. Like, for instance, they have yet to post in the press conference a map, like a perimeter of the area, and make a direct appeal to people to say, if you live in this area or you were in this area on that evening, please call the sheriff's office and have a deputy interview every single one of those people. And then you have to go back to the basics, the neighborhood canvases, the canvases of individuals at transportation hubs, things like that. Like, you've got to just go back and just literally beat the bushes.
And if you have, so you have something of a timeline with the information about the pacemaker, right? Last communication 2 a.m. So you can narrow your window for cameras that you look at. And I'm thinking, for instance, of the Brown University shooting, where it took them some time before they released that first image.
That's right.
And then they created kind of a potential path, and then there was another image, and you know, each thing helped move forward. I imagine that's at least a focus right now.
That's absolutely right. So, you know, you've got license plate readers up in different parts of the city, potentially places that are close to, or places that might be along the approach or the exit from this neighborhood.
We continue to monitor the home of Nancy Guthrie after a flurry of police activity within the last couple of hours. At the same time, a desperate search for Nancy is underway. So, what will it take to solve the case and bring this 84-year-old grandmother home safe and sound and get her the medicine that she desperately needs? Here with more reaction analysis, the host of Crime Stories with Nancy Grace on Fox Nation. Nancy is with us. Okay. This has been your life's mission, your passion, your vocation in life. And you have studied more crimes than any other one person that I know. Let's look at and unpack, as I've been saying, all of this new information that we have, and that post by Savannah and her brother and sister on Instagram. What do you glean from that?
Number one, it's heartbreaking and excruciating to watch, but we have to watch. And this is what I discern. Number one, law enforcement absolutely knew that this statement was being made. They probably helped them prepare it. I know Savannah. Savannah would not go rogue. We work together at Court TV. She's covered many, many cases like this. She knows what's happening. She would not go rogue and do this against law enforcement's decision, much less the FBI, for Pete's sake. Of course they knew, and they probably coached them or helped them. Number one, what else does it tell me? To take the ransom notes seriously. There's a lot being thrown around in the media that is it real, is it fake, is Bitcoin, blah, blah. Well, apparently that note had something in it that made Savannah Guthrie, who knows the law like the back of her hand, try to reach out and speak to whoever sent it. That tells me that possibly the description in the note was accurate. Only the family and law enforcement would know that. And they have chosen, Savannah and her brother and sister have chosen to engage with whoever wrote those notes. There's something in that note is accurate.
Okay, so I agree with you. I can't imagine that they would go out there with this statement and basically asking for proof of life, talking about a willingness to talk. I don't think they would do that at all without taking into account the real possibility that law enforcement deep down believes this is a very real possibility of a kidnapping and a ransom. Now, those cases are treated very specifically. How would you imagine this now begins to unfold?
Well, we've got to wait now. We're playing their game, the perpetrator's game. One other thing I can glean from this, Sean, is that there's been a lot of speculation. It's from it's an insider very close to the family. I think if the family thought that, they would not be speaking on Insta to an unknown party. I don't think you would see this happening, what we're seeing, this extraordinary moment right now. They want proof of life, and it can't be some AI image. They want to know she's alive. They want something in the background to show she's alive. It's got to be something that strikes them as real. And again, we're playing the perps game. I don't like that. We're going to have to wait on them to respond, see what the response is. What if we don't hear from them for another day, 2 days, 3 days? Did you notice it took a long time for the ransom note to appear? That was concerning to me. And another thing, Savannah and her family have been through HELL because they haven't come forward and spoken until now. Did anybody ever think that in her position, in the limelight, in the public, she was told that that may throw fuel on the flame? I'm sure she was following the directions of law enforcement. And now she's spoken. I hope that makes everybody happy so we can now focus on finding Nancy Guthrie.
Okay, let's go back to what we know. Why did they go back and I know we're all speculating here, but there's got to be a reason why they went back to the mother's home today, why they went to the sister's home today. Now, they might have, this could be very innocent. They went to the sister's home, maybe in preparation for this statement that they were going to release tonight. It could have been that simple an explanation. And I don't like that people run rogue. The media often rushes to judgment. They were wrong on Richard Jewell, wrong on Duke Lacrosse, UVA, Ferguson, Missouri, Freddie Gray in Baltimore. They're wrong a lot. So we don't like to rush to judgment. You never rush to judgment. But why do you think they went back to the house today? There had to be a specific reason. And it's hard to believe in this day and age, Nancy, help me, that there are cameras everywhere. I know whoever did this ripped that camera out at Savannah's mother's house, at Nancy Guthrie's house. However, what about a neighbor? They had to have somebody that, got every license plate and every person, that walked down that street or drove down that street that night.
You cannot tell me in a neighborhood like that there are not security cameras, surveillance throughout. And she was taken in a vehicle. She can't walk past 50 yards, all right? She was taken out that door. We know there's forced entry, but they came out of that front door from the blood that apparently has been identified as Mrs. Guthrie's. The blood ended there. She was put in a car. There's got to be a record of that car. There's got to be some cell phone data somewhere. They've just a needle in a haystack right now. But regarding surveillance, I know they're in a vehicle, and I know we got to track that vehicle. But I want to point out one thing. It wasn't just the agents. They brought dogs, Sean. They brought dogs. What does that mean? Were they looking? Was she taken into the garage? You have to look to see where they're taking the dogs. Then it looked like they were doing somewhat of a grid search around the area, like out into the woods a little bit. Did they get a tip, or did they think that they had missed something? I thought they opened up the scene way too early. That's just me, having handled thousands of crime scenes. But they went back to that scene. That scene could have been tampered with by now.
Nancy,
close the scene.
Okay, we have cadaver dogs. We have drug dogs. There are dogs that are trained specifically to seek out electronics that may be hidden somewhere. I mean, it could have been any number of reasons why those dogs were brought in there. But you're right, they did expand outside into the property. Okay, what do you think they're looking for?
I think that they may be looking for the approach into the home. There have now been reports of a male that does not live in the neighborhood that had been in the area leading up to the time that Nancy was taken. Are they trying to pick up a scent there? I think that they've gotten a tip. They've gotten some kind of information. They had to go back and check it out, and they brought dogs. That's what I can surmise right now. And that's very serious to bring the dogs back out. They're looking for some type of human scent, I believe. I don't think they're looking for electronics. And they're not looking for drugs. They're looking for a human.
Let's go back to the original statements of law enforcement. They believe she was taken out of her home by force. It was a forced entry into the home. We know that the camera was ripped out. There was the blood, but as you pointed out last night on this program, not a significant amount of blood that would indicate that she was dead when she left that house. That means that she was taken out against her will, according to law enforcement. Walk us through. That means I think I would conclude if they wanted to kill her, they would have killed her right then and there on Saturday. Okay, they wanted to take her. They took her. Now, as you look at each little piece of that puzzle, having gone over, thousands and thousands of cases throughout your career, what does it tell you?
It tells me, number one, she was upright and walking. She may have been assisted. She was not down. She was not being dragged prone, because the blood was dropping, I think, from her nose. And you see droplets coming down. As a matter of fact, if you very carefully look at that blood in the front, it's almost as if you can see the steps through the first 4 tiles. There's a drop or two of blood on each tile. She's being led out of that house, and based on the blood, she is still upright. That's very significant in my mind. She's alive at that point. That's what I think. If this were random, they would have killed her, robbed her, raped her, and left her body in that home. That's harsh. I know it's harsh, but I'm dealing with the facts. She's not there. That's not what this is about, which gives credence to the ransom notes. And now we see the family coming out. They're giving credence to the ransom notes too. Or are they grasping at straws? I don't think so. There's something in that note that rings true to the crime scene or what Mrs. Guthrie was wearing. So we've got to be taking this very seriously. Now, these ransom notes are the way to go. That is the path. And we're playing a waiting game. I don't know how much longer Mrs. Guthrie can wait.
You told me something privately, and I want to bring it public. You said to me that the fact that she was in this house alone and this happened where it happened, that you were convinced it had to be somebody local. Do you stand by that?
Yes, I do. I do not believe all these zany theories that Savannah covered an incendiary case. She does that every day. We all do. And that somebody got mad and travels across the country, finds her elderly mother, and kidnaps her. That's not what happened. This is not some, conspiracy against Savannah or a political statement. No. They knew her. They know where she lives. They know she lived alone.
I want to go out front now, as promised, to the Pima County Sheriff, Chris Anos. And
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
Through tears, some tough words, a tough message, a heartbreaking message to hear from Savannah.
First at 6:30 as the search intensifies for the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. An unnamed law enforcement source claims a family member is now a prime suspect in her disappearance. KTLA's Mary Beth McDade live in the newsroom with the latest on a rapidly developing story tonight. MB.
Micah, Savannah Guthrie and her sister Annie, alongside their brother, have broken their silence tonight. They posted this video message to their mother and her potential kidnappers.
Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
Well, the search for Nancy continues tonight. There are conflicting reports over whether her son-in-law is a person of interest in her disappearance. Now, just a short time ago, there was a flurry of police and FBI activity at Nancy's Tucson home. It appears they collected some evidence, and now many have left. There are blood drops on the doorstep of Nancy Guthrie's Tucson home, and the Pima County Sheriff says there are obvious signs of a break-in. He believes the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie was taken from her home against her will in a possible kidnapping. Deputies were seen searching an area behind Nancy's home today. Nancy was last seen Saturday night by her daughter Annie and her son-in-law, who dropped her off at home after dinner. Her family reported her missing when she didn't show up the next day for Sunday church services. Journalist Ashley Banfield is revealing that authorities are looking at a possible person of interest.
Critical line from this high-level law enforcement source was that the son-in-law may be prime suspect at this time.
She's talking about Annie's husband, one of the last people to see Nancy alive.
I was also told that the car belonging to Annie Guthrie, that's Savannah's sister, Nancy Guthrie's daughter, had been towed and taken into evidence.
Ashley says sources have also told her about what happened to the home's Nest cameras.
There were Nest cameras, plural, and they were smashed, and that they'd been taken into evidence.
The Pima County Sheriff denies those claims that they have a suspect, saying in a statement, "At this point, investigators have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case." Detectives are reportedly looking into whether a trespasser seen lurking in a neighbor's yard near Nancy's home a few weeks ago is linked to her disappearance. They're also looking into a digital footprint to see whose phones were in the area at the time Nancy vanished, and waiting for DNA results. 2 ransom notes that were sent to TMZ and a local Arizona TV station asking for millions in Bitcoin are also part of this investigation. Meantime, the sheriff gave a new interview to the Today Show this morning.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present, she's alive, and we want to save her.
President Donald Trump released a statement on Truth Social just moments ago saying, "I spoke with Savannah Guthrie and let her know that I am directing all federal law enforcement to be at the family's and local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately. We are deploying all resources to get her mother home safely. The prayers of our nation are with her and her family." For now, reporting live here in the newsroom, Mary Beth McDade. We'll send it back to you in the studio, Micah.
Mary Beth, thank you.
The search for Savannah Guthrie's missing mother is still underway. As reported at the top of the hour, there were some shocking new developments today. Joining us now with our coverage, the host of Crime Stories, Nancy Grace, is with us, the one and only. Nancy, taken out of her home against her will, abduction. Now, I'm sure that Harvey Levin, would not ever publish anything that's not true. I've known him a long time. Apparently, there is a ransom letter. You have studied crime your entire life. What do you see here?
I see a lot, and it's developing very quickly. I agree with you about Levin. I do not believe what he said is fabricated. Also, the alleged ransom note went not only to TMZ, it also went to KOLD, a local outlet. Apparently, it's the same exact ransom note. Now, that's interesting. That's what we're being told. It's coming out in drops and dribbles. What I'm telling you is what we're learning from sources, okay? It's all got to be corroborated. But if it's the same exact letter, that means it's not a lot of people writing ransom notes here and there. It's a coordinated effort. Does that mean it's real? Don't know yet. But about the ransom note, Sean, it allegedly had information in it regarding what Mrs. Guthrie was wearing at the time she was kidnapped, abducted. That has not been released. I've been thinking about what was she wearing. She had gotten home from her church event on Saturday night. She was brought home. She got home 9:30, 9:45 p.m. By 11 a.m. the next day, she's such a faithful churchgoer. When they looked around and went, "Hey, Nancy's not here," they immediately called her family. The family was over there shortly after 11. Mom, gone. Was she wearing her PJs? Had she had time to change? I'm curious. Why do I care? I care because if she's still wearing the clothes that she came home in, that means the perp was watching her, waiting on her to get home. This is not random. Even a non-legal eagle could figure that out. It's not like he's coming by to get the VCR and, oh, there's a lady. I think I will take her. So you've got the ransom note. Allegedly wanting millions of dollars in Bitcoin. And I believe that Bitcoin account has been authenticated. It's a real account. That doesn't mean that the ransom note is real.
Nancy, let me ask you
That's
this.
what we know about the ransom note. 2 notes. Yes.
Okay,
I want
what
to get to the
scares
blood.
me, we'll get to the blood. I can't imagine an 84-year-old woman had enemies. I just can't imagine that under any circumstances. Church-going woman, from what I read and what I understand, which then leads to the obvious conclusion one would go to, which is they targeted somebody because, in this case, her daughter was in the public eye and famous, and probably assumed that she may have some money. That should be chilling to everybody in the country.
Extremely. This is an 84-year-old grandma that cannot walk further than 50 yards. She has mobility issues. That's the best. That's on her best day. She can walk 50 yards. Now, this got me very upset. You know, my 94-year-old mother lives with me. And the thought of somebody taking her in the middle of the night there is blood. At first, we couldn't confirm what type of DNA it was, just that it is Nancy Guthrie's DNA. And I've looked at the blood. It's from the door going out to the driveway, and it looks to be, to me, free-falling, low-velocity droplets. Free-falling, as in dropping from a nosebleed, low velocity, not from a weapon hitting her or a gunshot wound, which would be high velocity or mist or spatter. Low velocity, free-falling droplets, like from a bloody nose. Now, we know she has a pacemaker. Is she on blood thinner, which would make her bleed more if she was even slapped? So I'm trying not to read anything worse into that than it already is, such as a gunshot wound or a stab. I'm hoping that my analysis of a free-falling, low-velocity droplet is correct. But that tells me the path in which she went, from the house to what? A car. Now, you can't tell me in that community everybody doesn't have Ring doorbell cams. There has to be some surveillance of the car that took her. Period. Another thing I'm learning is apparently there is video somewhere in that home. However, it's server-based, not in the cloud. And we've heard reports that it tapes over every 8 hours. Can't confirm that yet. If that's true, it's going to be HELL trying to recreate it. And that's being worked on right now. So you've got a ransom note, an alleged ransom note, 2 of them, and you've got blood droplets and trying to get the video. Also, Sean, the foot search had been called off, but now, as you and I go to air right now, apparently there are helicopters coming back in the area, and they are retracing their steps, and I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, well, the one thing I will say, I do have a lot of faith in professional hostage negotiators. The IT capability of our law enforcement is superb. Our forensic guys are superb. Not a lot to go on. One last thing. Apparently, she had a ringtone camera, and they ripped that out, knowing that that would be the first thing they looked at. That tells me it's premeditated. Last thought.
Pre-planning, and I would start looking not in her inner circle, such as her family, but beyond. Who's cutting the grass? Who worked in the yard? Who worked on the road last week? Who trims the trees? Who's the grocery store clerk? And out and out and out, somebody that goes, hey, that's Savannah Guthrie's mom. Yeah. Let's take her. I know Savannah. She's a wonderful, wonderful and loving person, and I am praying for her and her family and her mother tonight, and I hope you join me, Sean.
I totally.
I'm just picturing if Savannah's at her sister Annie's house yesterday, and Annie's husband is there, Tommaso, and the sheriff shows up, the FBI shows up and seizes his vehicle, like that's an OMG moment. They'd have to have a warrant. Obviously they had to go into court and show that there was probable cause to get that warrant. What was in that probable cause affidavit from the law enforcement officer that suggested they had the right to seize his car? We know that we believe, right, that Annie's car, right, but she's
Annie's
married
car.
to him, so it's 6 one way. But was it Annie or was it Tommaso or was it both? Do we know, Ashley, that dropped off the mother, Nancy, on Saturday night? I believe it was a church mahjong event. And they brought her home.
So I've heard it both ways. I've heard Annie dropped her off. And then I've heard that Annie and her husband dropped her off. And I've heard that both ways multiple times from the sheriff himself in news conferences too. So it is a little bit unclear. And I don't know if they're unclear. And quite frankly, I don't know if this many-hour meeting over at Annie's house yesterday where the FBI was there yielded a conversation, because most people would say, I think I need a lawyer here. This sounds weird. At least most people should say. Everybody should say. I need a lawyer before I say hello. And that's innocent people. That's to protect the innocent. Let's be really clear. I'm always very mindful. It's not about guilty people trying to cover up. although often it is. But innocent people need to protect the way their words can also be used against them, even when they don't mean it a certain way. I shot the sheriff? Well, just put that in writing. It now says I shot the sheriff. You don't hear the inflection.
Yep. So, okay, so we know that they must have gotten a probable cause affidavit to go in there and seize the car, which they did, Annie's car. And now, why do we believe, is it just that from the source that the focus is on Annie's husband, whose name is Tommaso Cioni? I believe he's a native from Italy. He's Italian born, and he's 50 years old, but he's been married to Savannah's sister for, I guess, quite some time. He's 50 years old. He's from Tucson now, and he's been living in Tucson. Do we know anything more about him?
Let me tell you about this strange thing that we found. He's got a bio that appears on a website for the Taparulan Cultural Association. That's a nonprofit based in Cremona, Italy. It's focused on promoting contemporary artists. It's about started in 2004. And this is what he quotes in his bio on that website. I was born in San Giovanni Valdarno on June 18, 1975. Since 2006, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona. I write when I have the chance. I study lizards. I play the electric bass. I make homemade pasta. LinkedIn has him as a teacher at Basis Oro Valley School from 2007 to today. They say he's a primary instructor for 6th grade science and AP biology. And Reverb Nation, which is a website based on music, says he put out an album with a 3-man music group called Early Black. That music's still out there. But again, I've seen some pictures when he's with the 3 guys. I don't know if that's the band. It kind of looks like a band picture. But yeah, apparently he's this bass player, electric bass, who's in a band called Early Black.
Do we know how long they've been married?
I don't know that. No.
Isn't she an older sister to Savannah, or no?
I'm not sure.
I think Savannah's my age exactly. I think she's
a little younger than me. If I'm 50, I think she's like 56, 55, something like that.
Well, I'm 55. Oh my God, when did that happen?
Oh,
so I think she's my age.
Wow. Look at this. This is crazy.
I'm pretty sure she's my age exactly. Savannah and I actually have a lot in common. It's kind of eerie.
We worked at Court TV together.
I know.
You know, I remember being in the bathroom, the ladies' room at Court TV, and Court TV was getting shut down. They were very kind to us. They gave us 9 months to find other jobs. And Savannah got a contact over at NBC, and I said, well, you got to call my friend so-and-so, and you're getting that job. You're getting that job, girl. And then she said to me later, I got the interview, and I got the job. I'm going to work at MSNBC. And I said, oh, no, you're going to host the Today Show. Mark my word. And we always talk about that. Whenever I talk to her, I'm like, yeah, don't ever question me again, sister, especially in a ladies' room.
Well, it's funny because I'm down here in D.C. today to interview the vice president. They allowed us to do our second hour from his ceremonial office here. It's beautiful. But
nice.
When I first met Savannah Guthrie, it was at the Supreme Court because she was doing high court coverage for NBC and I was doing it for Fox, or she was at MS at the time. And now, all these years later, it's very strange. I was just back down here covering the Supreme Court for the big argument on boys and girls sports 2 weeks ago, and here I am covering this terrible tragedy for her. And it's like, at this point, Ashley, it's like, I don't know if there can be a good outcome. If they can find Nancy Guthrie and she's fine, that's it. And by the way, we do have a soundbite on that. The sheriff says he's holding out hope that could still happen. This is played on the Today Show this morning. Here's SOT 0.
This morning, the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie now entering its 4th day, with the Pima County Sheriff saying he's holding out hope Savannah's mom is alive.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present, she's alive, and we want to save her.
NBC News is aware of 2 reports of ransom notes sent to news organizations that reference Nancy Guthrie. NBC News has not seen those notes, and so far, no law enforcement agency has substantiated them. The Pima County Sheriff's Office saying it's also aware of the reports, adding, we are taking all tips and leads very seriously.
The leads we've got coming in are critical to us. They're valuable, and we're sharing those with the FBI and others.
FBI agents are now working closely with local authorities. The Sheriff's Department says Guthrie had several cameras at her home, but it's still unclear if there's any footage from the overnight hours when she was believed to be abducted. They're also still trying to find any usable video from neighbors' homes.
From any usable video from neighbors' homes. And he seemed to speak to, Sheriff Chris Nanos, whether they did find any usable video from Nancy's home or elsewhere, in a way, again, that was cryptic. He's not the most clear on his communications. This is CBS Morning. Watch this here in SOT 3.
The sheriff also says surveillance video from Guthrie's home has led them nowhere so far.
None of the camera images have revealed to us anything of substantive nature. Nothing.
Really?
No.
Anything?
No, it only goes so far back. And so we're giving it to those camera makers and saying, can you do something more with this?
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, please tell me.
So, and I'm not a tech guru, but I know about Nest cams, and my source said they were Nest specifically, said they were smashed and said they were Nest. And so my conversation on Monday with Sheriff Nanos was that they are working with the tech companies to get what's in the cloud, but that there were warrant issues, and it was taking a long time, and he was very frustrated working with the companies. He thought he'd have it back sooner, and by Monday night, he was annoyed that he didn't have it. Yesterday in the news conference, he seemed still to be frustrated, waiting on these images. And I believe that's because perhaps the device itself may hold maybe just the last hour, and they're looking for the history. And for that, maybe the family doesn't have the password, whatever it is to get in. That's my guess. But the fact that they know they're smashed would at least give you the last image of it being smashed. That doesn't mean it was smashed from the front. Maybe someone came in the back door and smashed that front camera from inside. So then you don't see who's doing it. Or they were completely draped in black, because everybody knows porch pirates know to drape themselves now because of cameras that can catch you coming up to them. Smashing them doesn't reverse what you've already seen. That's what I was thinking about that. But the other thing that I think is super key, and my source said to me specifically, 2 a.m. is the focus. And that's because of the pacemaker separation. The sheriff wouldn't go that far. He kept saying, well, we're still leaving it open, a wide window. I'm not going to narrow that window down for the public here. But my source said, oh, no, it is the separation of the pacemaker from the Apple devices that we believe is the moment she went out that doorway and was spirited away.
Yes, I mean, I think the rest of us had gleaned that, even though the sheriff wouldn't say it explicitly, but now your source is saying yes. And so can you just reiterate, was there any sort of caution given to you about saying Savannah's brother-in-law is or may be the prime suspect? Like, is that as good as saying, yeah, Savannah may be, I may be, you may be? I mean, what's the worth of it?
Well, I want to tell you one other thing he told me, because there was some reports that were pulled back. Somebody reported, I think on Monday, that Mrs. Guthrie was dragged from her bed. And the sheriff came out and said that.
The sheriff said that. I listened to an interview in which he said it.
Yeah. And he said, I didn't mean to be literally. And then he walked back that. And I couldn't get him to pinpoint an epicenter of the crime scene. Is it in the bedroom? Is it in the living room? Is it in the kitchen? Is it the front door? I couldn't get him to pinpoint that. He also wouldn't, on Monday when I did the interview, he would not confirmed there was blood inside the house, but my source has confirmed there was blood inside the house. Brian Enton has confirmed that there's outside. My source said outside as well, but we saw the pictures. So there's blood inside the house and there's blood outside the house. And and I want to be so careful with this, because on my podcast, I said it over and over, watch yourself. This is the
I want to go out front now, as promised, to the Pima County Sheriff, Chris Anos. And Sheriff, I appreciate your time very much, and it's just shocked and saddened to be speaking to you about this. I know you say that Nancy Guthrie has been abducted. What makes you say that?
You know, there's first and foremost, we know that Miss Guthrie is got every, just like we said, sharp as a tack. Her wits are about her. This isn't somebody who wandered off. This is an elderly woman in her mid-80s who suffers some ailments that makes her mobility, her ability to walk around, very difficult. The family told us she couldn't go 50 yards, and that in and of itself is a concern. But then we also have some things at that scene that indicate to us that she was removed from that scene against her will. I can't go into all those details. It's not that I'm trying to be secretive. I get that everybody wants to know and they all want to help, and we appreciate it so much. But there is a case that we need to protect that integrity and continue working with our investigative leads.
But you are confident, Sheriff, just to be clear, that it was an abduction.
I've been doing this for 50 years. I have a gut feeling, but it came to me that yesterday in the early afternoon that she was abducted. We didn't know who she was, but we knew that we had this middle-aged, this mid-80s woman missing from our home. And so we have our search and rescue team out there who does great work all the time. And they are out all the time. I mean, it's almost daily. They just are. But something that they told me about that scene made me believe that there's more than just a missing person. So we wanted to continue with that search and rescue mission. Today we still hope she's alive, and we continue with those missions of search and rescue. But our efforts you just can't ignore what you're seeing at a scene and put that off. Time is of the essence. And so we also initiated our criminal investigation team out there to start their investigation.
And so when you say it's your gut on things at the scene, is there anything you can share that led you to that gut without sharing too much about the scene, as I know you're unable to do?
No, I really can't at this time. We have people in the field right now doing some things with, of course, canvassing the neighborhood. Our search teams are back out there just to make sure we didn't miss some areas. Those are standard procedures. But what we also know is there's some evidence that we're trying to retrieve, and whether it's from cameras or digital evidence from cell phones, that technology that's so critical to us, our LPRs, our license plate readers, all of that. We think that once we get those things downloaded to us and have a look at them, we'll be in a better position.
So I know you would ask people for ring cameras or any other kind of information. Is that what you're referring to? I mean, have you been able to look at any of that to see, whether she was taken in a car or a truck or a van, or are you able to ascertain any of that from video footage that you have at this point, or is that still unknown?
It's still unknown. We're getting a lot of leads, and a lot of that information is coming in, and we are looking at some cameras, but there's nothing specific to us. Our priority right now is the home had some cameras that we need help in the download of. They're not cloud-based. They may be on a server somewhere. But I'll be honest, we've been getting great help from not just our law enforcement partners, the FBI, the local law enforcement agencies, and our state law enforcement partners, but even private businesses, Google, Apple, name them, the Meta. Yeah. They've all been offering up assistance and help, and we greatly appreciate it. This is a big case to this community, because it's not often never really that we see somebody in the middle of the night in their safe home environment in bed all of a sudden disappear.
So you mentioned, and I don't know if I'm just making sure I heard you correctly. You said when you first found out about this, you didn't know who she was. And I think the first thing people wonder is, was this a kidnapping for ransom? Because her daughter is who she is. Yeah. Do you think this is a kidnapping for ransom? Do you have any kind of a ransom note or anything that would indicate that? Or at this point, do you not know if that's the case?
No, we've been working with Ms. Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's security team, and researching any potential threats there or anything. But no, we're not hearing anything like that. We've not seen that. We'll never rule it out. But no, we're not. We don't. That's not the direction we're going in right now.
Well, so do you think? I guess again, I know a lot of this is your gut at this point. So I know you'll know what you know when you know it. But I mean, do you think this could have been random?
Anything is possible. Wow. Like I say, I go with gut instinct sometimes, and sometimes I'm wrong. So we just got to be careful and follow our protocols, our procedures, and just kind of systematically work our way through this. The media has been tremendous help in getting us leads that we're able to chase down and work on, and this community's always supported us. When we come out and ask for help, they're right there. And so it is you know, Miss Guthrie, Savannah is a member of this community, even though she may not live here. She's a strong part of our family, if you will. And this reaches out, and they're a part of this case as well.
Sheriff, do you believe that Nancy was hurt when she was taken? I mean, I know it was against her will. So, I mean, do you think, we heard Jenna talk about her needing her medication. I mean, do you know anything about her condition?
We know, and of course, we don't want to get into her medical history, but we know that she, like I said, sound mind, capable, all of those things. She just had some physical ailments that limited her ability to move, to get around. But my goodness, we just know that, without getting into too much, it is our belief she was removed from that home against her will. We hope. We're racing the clock here. You said that earlier. Her meds are important, and the family has told us 24 hours without those meds could be fatal. And here we are at 30 plus hours, if more. We really need, if somebody knows something, just call us. Just let her go and we'll come get her if that's the case. We just hope. We never give up hope. We'll always be hopeful that we find her safe and sound. But there is a side of this that we just can't ignore when we see things in front of us. We would not be doing our job if we did that.
As people try to, everybody, of course, anybody who knows anything would call you. Do you know, I guess, what state she would be in as to whether she was hurt in that incident? Maybe you were obviously able to see evidence when you were in her home, but any kind of an injury that you might have thought she sustained in her abduction?
Yeah, I just can't really speak to that right now.
Yeah, all right, I understand. Is there anything else, Sheriff, that you want people to know about this, about her, that might help people be able to help you find her? If you see someone, take a look at that pictures, the photos we put out there. If you see someone that you think even resembles that, get your phone out and videotape it. Take a quick picture, send that to us. We're right now putting up a link, I think, that will allow anyone across the country to lock in and deliver us any kind of link they may have. Every piece of information is important. We hear all the time, I didn't want to bother police. It didn't seem that important. Let us be the ones to dismiss that information. Share it with us. We'll go through it and prioritize it and decide whether it's valid or not. But again, this is a great community. I am so blessed to be able to be a part of this community, and they always come through for us. And I really believe that we'll find her. My team is solid, good young men and women. They've never let us down. This case, we will get there. All right, Sheriff, I appreciate your time very much. And one last question before you go, just so people know. It sounds like you don't know necessarily the way in which she was abducted, right? So is it safe to say that she could be anywhere? We know Border Patrol was involved. Does that mean you think a border could be involved? Obviously, Tucson's right along the Mexican border.
No. Let me. First of all, I do not want this to be a political piece. This is about an elderly woman who lives in our community and went to bed in her safe home and is missing, removed from her home. That is it. Border Patrol helps us all the time when we have missing hikers, or they have some dogs that do tremendous work, and that's what they did. They came out with their dog team to help us.
The mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie is missing, and investigators say her Arizona home is an active crime scene. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen Saturday night at her home near Tucson. Investigators say a family member alerted police around noon on Sunday after Guthrie missed church, and now authorities are convinced she was abducted.
Is it fair for me to characterize this as an abduction?
I believe she was abducted, yes. She didn't walk from there. She didn't go willingly. We don't believe.
CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is in Tucson, Arizona, where he spoke with the sheriff. And Jonathan, have investigators indicated why they believe Nancy Guthrie was the victim of a crime?
Yeah, Juliet, is a question that we had for the sheriff. He did not go into too much detail. We spoke with him for about 30 minutes earlier this afternoon in his office. We're going to be sharing some of the clips from that interview with you throughout this conversation. He said there is no doubt that there was a crime committed based on what they found inside the home, going so far as to tell me that Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home behind me in the middle of the night while she was asleep. He told me they found life-saving medication, critical medication for her inside, left behind, along with her cell phone. To the other evidence that was inside, he did not go into too much detail, but he did say there is no doubt that foul play is involved. Take a listen.
You know, there's a lot of evidence there that I can't really share with you. I can't get into that because there's certain things that are at that home that we know the individual, the intruder of that home, that person's the only one that knows. And so we want to kind of preserve some of that and to protect the integrity of the investigation moving forward.
And right now, the sheriff's saying that they are tracking down more than 1,000 leads received from the public. They're also looking at surveillance video camera, not just from the home itself behind me, but throughout this community as they call on residents here with any kind of Ring doorbell cameras or surveillance cameras to submit them as part of this ongoing investigation, Juliet.
Yeah, Jonathan, do investigators believe she was targeted?
That was a question that we posed directly to the sheriff. Savannah Guthrie, obviously very well known given her role on the Today Show. The Guthrie family, very prominent here in this community. I asked the sheriff if that perhaps made them a target. He very quickly said he did not believe so, but added in the early stage of this investigation, anything was possible. They do not have a person of interest at this point, but it was very interesting during that conversation that we had in his office. They do have what he believes to be DNA evidence that they're now tracking down and testing. This is what he had to say.
We're working very feverishly with a lot of our camera vendors, our LPRs, our license plate reader folks, downloading some data at the house from video we hope exists at some of the cameras at the residence, downloading cell phones. All of that is being done. We're trying to expedite that. We have some DNA that we're trying to get some rapid results on that.
DNA? Whose DNA do you think?
That's what I'm saying. We've got some items we've submitted for DNA.
And the sheriff there, as you could tell, being very cautious about what information they put out into the public. He did say he believes that the doors to the home behind me were locked. He would not go into detail if there was any sign of forced entry. As they continue, the sheriff's department and police, to call on the public to submit any video that they have, any information that they may have about what happened here Saturday night.
Yeah, investigators say it is a race against time. So what time pressures are they up against currently?
So as we began this conversation, Juliet, I talked about that life-saving medication that was found inside that home. We do not know what that medication treated, but the sheriff said it was required every single day to keep Nancy Guthrie alive. The clock literally ticking. As we talked about this, as I addressed that concern and the urgency of time with the sheriff, he got emotional very visibly while discussing the clock that they're up against. There are two big concerns here. Not only where is Nancy Guthrie right now, but of course this medication.
Absolutely.
You say it needs to be taken every single day to save her life.
Absolutely.
I mean, the clock is literally ticking. It's been more than 24 hours since she disappeared. Are you concerned that it may be too late before she is found?
Well, look, we don't want to go there. Look, we just want to find her. If she needs her meds, we know that. The family knows that, and the family's just they've worked so close with us. They're heartbroken about this, as are we. This is a member of our community. We want her found.
I can tell in your eyes that this is something that weighs on you when you think about the medication.
All of these issues weigh on me.
Yeah, and you could see the weight on his shoulders, a lengthy and at times emotional conversation. The FBI has been brought into this. They are aware of it. At this point, they're not assisting as the investigation continues. Savannah Guthrie was not on air this morning, Juliet, as she rushed here to be by her family's side in a statement saying they just want their mother brought back home.
Jonathan Figliotti. Jonathan, thank you.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. as a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.